so I had another one of my followers on Instagram. I believe she's on my Instagram and my YouTube channel subscriber. I will put her name here. I had her request to do milk bath nails. Now we have seen milk bath nail tutorials and milk bath nails all over the internet, all over Pinterest, Instagram, all social media outlets. So this isn't something new, but because it was requested, I do want to try to do videos that my followers are requesting. So I actually want to try and do it in 3 different ways. So the first way I'm going to do is the traditional way with the dried flowers, and I'm going to be doing it in acrylic. And then the second way is I'm going to actually use water decals, so floral water decals. And again, I'm going to attempt to do that in acrylic. And then the third way is I'm going to use floral stamping plates. And I'm going to do that one in gel polish, so we're using a milky white gel polish, because I don't think that the nail polish when I stamp will hold up against the monomer when I apply the acrylic. Now again, I've mentioned this before in several of my videos. When I do tutorials, I usually don't practice, so that's why I say I am going to try to do them using the gel polish or using the acrylic. The only one that I'm unsure of if it's going to work, because in my brain when I'm thinking about it, like I said, would be doing stamping using acrylic, so that's why I'm going to be doing it with gel polish. So if this is something that you're interested in, keep watching. Don't forget to click the like and subscribe button. If you have any questions or comments, leave them below. I hope that everyone is staying safe and healthy. Here in Saskatchewan, we are getting ready to open our doors. All estheticians are able to start up on June 8th, so that is just around the corner for me, so I am excited. I've got a couple of days, just less than a week left before I get started with my clients. So I'm excited, I'm nervous, but I'm excited as well, more so excited. So as I said, click the like and subscribe, leave any comments you have below, and hang in there guys, we're gonna get started. Okay guys, so to start off, I'm going to go through the items that I'm going to be using to do the traditional way of doing the milk bath nails using the dried flowers, and I'm going to be doing it in acrylic. So the first thing you're going to need is some type of a milky white acrylic. So this is a custom mix one that I use to do my faded French or baby boomer nails. I have a video on that, on baby boomer and faded French, so I'll put that link below as well so you can check that one out. But yes, so I use 2 parts clear to 1 part white, but if you have a soft white or a milky white already pre-mixed from another company, that is totally fine. So you're going to need that. Then you're also going to need a clear acrylic, because obviously we will be capping in clear. And I've also pulled out my bright white acrylic just in case there are areas, because we're doing a layered effect, just in case there are areas that I don't find this to be white enough. I've just pulled the extra, the bright white out in case I need to add a little bit extra white. And then of course you're going to need dried flowers. Now I've got these ones that I have purchased from eBay forever ago. These ones we are very familiar with. So basically what I like about this kit is it comes with both these ones that has the really tiny little petals, and then also it has the larger ones that you can kind of break apart. You can break the petals off of those as well. So this is a nice one. I'll try to link everything as usual below. And then I have this one as well, and the reason I pulled this one out is because I really loved the colors. Now as you can see, I've actually given some of these away. I had a few nail techs who were kind of in dire need of some dried flowers, and their orders hadn't come in, so they came and picked through. So I've lost a few of them, but the colors in this pack were so pretty. So I'm definitely going to try to see if I can find this one. I know I got it on eBay, and I don't know about you guys, but I actually this morning went on eBay to look for something. I don't know what it was. I can't even remember. And normally it's free shipping, guys, one of the places was charging $219 for shipping for an item that was $4. So clearly there is, you know, an issue going on with the COVID and the shipping and all this kind of stuff. They're obviously having a lot of problems. So purchasing from eBay right now may not be the best option. So I will see if I can find links to things from Amazon. Now, I also purchased quite some time ago this kit here, or little pack, and as you can see, the flowers are a lot thicker, so they're not really flat. Like, they still have their little stems on them. They're super adorable, but for placing in the nail, like for example this guy, it doesn't lay flat at all, as you can see. So I would actually just pull the petals off. I wouldn't attempt to try to put this in you know, in the nail like that, because you would end up having a super thick nail. But I really do love the colors. I'm just gonna grab my tweezers. Again, look at how bright and vibrant this guy is here. And I love that they're on their stems. I don't know, this, I just think they're so freaking cute. Let me see if it'll focus. For some reason it keeps going out of focus on me. Wants to be a pain in my butt to not focus. Okay, so there we go. So yeah, this guy is super vibrant. So again, I would attempt to just take the petals off of this one. And I love the color of this stuff. I don't even know what this is, but again, I will just remove, you just have to pinch on it. Basically, it's because it's so dry, it just crumbles. So then you can just use these little pieces here. So I am going to attempt to use some of the pieces out of here. I haven't even really looked through all of this, but there's a bunch of stuff in the bottom too, even bigger chunks of dried flowers. So I'm just going to seal that guy back up. So basically you just want to have some type of dried flowers that you can either pull the petals off, use the little petals like this, and that they will lay flat for you. And then I'm also going to add the addition, which we've seen this in Milk Bath Nails, of some gold leaf or gold flake. I need to refocus here. There we go. So I personally prefer the look of gold flake. I like the color better. I find it's just less yellow, like a yellow gold. If I pull this out, you can see the difference. I do prefer the look of gold leaf, but it is a pain to work with. As we know, it floats around. You've got to pull the pieces and make little pieces. So if you're in a pinch and you want to, you know, you don't have a lot of time, I would say reach for something like a gold flake, because it's already broken up, it's ready to go. And I mean, no one will really be the wiser and know the difference unless you put two nails side by side, one with gold leaf and one with gold flake. Now, this gold leaf I actually got as a free sample from Glitter Mix Canada when I did my big purchase there. This is an amazing company. She is very friendly, just really supportive and kind. So if you guys have not ordered from Glitter Mix Canada, please do so. I have a coupon code that is valid until, I don't remember the date, sometime in July of this month for 20% off. So if you, I'll put the link of it obviously below. So if you have not ordered from Glitter Mix Canada, please do so. It is a wonderful company, and she has a new collection right now called the OMG collection. And I originally ordered in my first haul one of the colors because she only had one, and I am obsessed with it. So when she got the whole collection in, I went onto the website immediately and purchased a few more. I didn't purchase all of them because some of them are just colors that I don't generally gravitate towards, but her prices are amazing, customer service is amazing, shipping time is amazing. So yes, and I did receive that those glitters, the OMG glitters that I purchased, but I'm just waiting for a few other things to come in, and I'm going to do another haul video for you guys. So anyways, that's it for that. Gold leaf, gold flake, whatever you choose to use. Now we're going into the second step, or the second way of doing them, which is using, what are they called? Water decals. Sorry. I had a brain fart. Okay, so moving into the second way that I'm going to attempt to do the Milk Bath nails is using water decals. So I just pulled these three out of my binder. I keep all of my water decals in a binder, and all of my decals in a binder. It's easy to display them and look through them. I have so many floral ones. So I will definitely, again, try to link. I've gotten these all from eBay. I will try to link them below. But basically for the basically for the milk bath nails, you want to find water decals that have sort of some greenery and little leafy things like this, plus floral. So something like this one, even this one with all the lavender, because basically you can just cut these pieces apart and use them all sort of individually, as if you would when you're doing the dried flowers. And then I've got this one, and this is actually the one that I'm going to use, particularly because I really liked these little guys here. I don't know why this camera will not stay focused. So I'm going to use this one. I like this little greenery. I love these blue leaves. So this is the one that I'm going to be using particularly, but I just wanted to pull out a couple of other ones just to sort of give you an idea of what you want to look for when you are planning to do them with water decals. Now, in regards to everything else, we are going to be using the same stuff as the dried flowers. So again, you want a milky white acrylic, you want an extra white acrylic just in case you have to add a little bit of white, you want your clear acrylic, and then your gold leaf or gold flakes. So that's for that step. And these two I'm quite confident I'm going to be able to do, and they are going to work out, and everything is going to be perfect and look awesome. Now the next one, using stamps, I have never seen anyone use stamping to do milk bath nails. I've not heard anyone do it, so there may be some videos or you know, YouTube videos out there or tutorials out there, but I haven't seen any. So I am, like I said, winging it, but I'm really winging this set here, or this design. So I have pulled out of my collection of stamps. Again, they're all from eBay. I'm such an avid eBay shopper. So these ones are from the brand NICOLE Diary. So I've got 033 and 009. So I have used this stamping plate before, obviously for the fish scales, for doing mermaid nails. I've used the honeycomb one. I've probably used some of the florals. Yeah, I think I've used this one. But particularly what I want it for this design is this little guy here and this little guy here. And then if I want to add some solid little flowers, I'll probably use like this one or this one or this one, or any of the ones with flowers basically. So I've got that guy, and then I have this one that is a layered stamping plate. Now I'm going to link below. I don't do a lot of stamps. I don't know why, I just kind of don't do them very much anymore. And to be honest, I've never ever done a layered stamp. So if you are following Talia from Talia's Nail Tales, she is an avid nail stamper, so she prefers, I believe, or uses a lot of the Clear Jelly Stamper stamps, and they have a lot of layered plates, and she's very good at it. So I will find a link to one of her videos and also post that below for you guys. I am going to attempt to use this. Like I said, I've never used it, so I don't know how well it's going to work. But I'm going to give it a whirl and see. So I've got that one. And then I still just use my Sally Hansen Insta-Dry polishes for stamping. I have a few other ones, but I, again, have not purchased anything from the Clear Jelly Stamper as of yet. So I have just pulled out of my Insta-Dry collection several colors that I think would go nice together. So I've got a green one, I've got a bluish teal, a darker purple, lighter purple, more of a magenta purple, a light pink, and a little bit of a blushy kind of peachy pink. So I'm going to use these three to do the layering of the flowers, and then I figured I would use all of these four to just add little tiny hints of other like greenery, which I might do the greenery in pink, or just little solid flowers here and there. So these are the type of colors that I'm going to be using for the stamp. And then obviously you are going to need a stamper of choice. Again, I believe Clear Jelly Stamper has one exactly like this, but I'm pretty sure I got this one on eBay. I did buy a refill stamp, like the replacement stamp, excuse me. I think I have one from Clear Jelly Stamper that I bought maybe at I think it's called Create a Beauty now. It was Can West, but I think it might be from Clear Jelly Stamper. Anyways, I have this stamp, and then obviously you need your little scraper. And then in order to make it look milky and do the milky white, I'm going to mix some of my Young Nails top coat with a little bit of this white crystal lac, 3S78. You guys have seen me use that a lot in my videos. Now I have a question for you guys. I don't know about you, but I store all of my gel polishes standing up in a polish rack that's on my wall. But a lot of my gel polishes end up looking like this. It's disgusting. I don't know why. They're not being shuffled around. They're not being tipped upside down. I have no idea. So I would love to know if anyone knows why this happens, how I can prevent it, because it looks nasty and it's hard to clean off once it's already kind of hardened and cured. Let me know below if you have any tips or tricks, or if you know why that is happening, because I have no idea, and so many of my bottles have that issue in all different brands, so it's not like it's just one brand. So anyways, if you can give me any tips on that below, I would love to hear from you guys. And other than that, you will obviously need your acrylic brush, which I'm still using the JOHENS, the big one, and then any type of gel brushes that you're using. So I have this one for light elegance, and I have it dedicated to use for white gel polishes or white gel paints. And that should be it as far as I can tell. So hang in there, guys, we're gonna get started. Alright, so I am going to start the design with the dried flowers and the acrylic. So as you can see, I have cut up little pieces of that gold leaf over on the side here, and here are also my little petals that I have cut up. Now these flowers are extremely delicate. So as you can see, this one, when I pulled it out of the jar or the little container, this petal broke off right here, but that's okay, we're going to still use it. I've got a little full flower here, and then I've just got tons of little petals and pieces. So that's what we're going to start with. So if you're wondering why my practice tip looks like this, I've mentioned in other videos, a lot of times I will put a cover pink underneath just to emulate the natural nail bed. And the reason that I do this is sometimes when we're doing designs in tutorials and we're doing them on a clear tip, it sort of gives you the illusion that a color will look a certain way that it won't actually look when you do it on a natural nail. So that's why I like to do this. And I just had these ones already done in my drawer. I really didn't need to do that for this tutorial, but I had these ones already prepped and ready in my drawer, so I just grabbed them. So we're going to start off by adding a layer. First, you would want to add a layer of clear on your client. And the reason that we do this is just so that it creates a barrier between the colored product and your client's natural nail. So when you go to do a fill, you can just fill down to that clear layer, and you're not going to have to dig into the natural nail at all. Obviously for this video, I don't need to do that because this is not a client, not yet. So I am going to start off by dipping into my soft white, and I'm going to create a layer. So we're going to a thin layer. Again, you know, when we're doing these layered nails, we want to make sure we work in very thin layers. Now, if you have a longer nail, I would definitely work in sections just so that the acrylic stays wet enough, because you want to put these flower pieces into the wet acrylic. So here I am going to apply this little one here. Now this one is going to, sorry, it's not sitting very flat. Now I've seen people actually put them in water to help them soften, and I completely forgot about that before doing this. So I am just going to attempt to press this down. Now it will stick into the acrylic. You're just going to have to hold it for a little bit. And the reason it's not sitting really flat is because in the center there's actually the base of that flower there, and that is what is making it poke up. So the other option would be you could put a little slit here and here in the flower, which if this guy won't sit properly, I might have to do that, but I think I can get it to sit down if I just keep pressing it into that wet acrylic and holding it down. You will see in one of my other videos the use of cellophane or saran wrap to push things down, but as you can see, it's pushed down, it's fine. Now the only issue is that this acrylic has started to dry for me to apply my other flower petals, so I'm just going to add a little tiny bit and wet it up again, and again go in and apply my petals and my little pieces. And these blue ones here are a little bit thicker, so again you want to kind of press them in, adding a little yellow, and then obviously I want to add a little bit of that gold leaf as well, here and there. And then I'm going to move down the nail and we're going to fill the nail, doing the exact same thing. Now I am going to do this in 2 layers. I'm actually going to add a second layer and add a few more flowers, again just for that little tiny bit of dimension. We're not going to add a lot of extra flowers on that second layer, but I am going to add a few. So now this flower here, if you can see, it is actually kind of flips upward. So I'm going to place it upside down so that it lays a little bit better. So as you can see, that one went in better. And then I'm just going to grab that little leaf that we broke, that I broke off, and just place it in there and make that flower whole again. And then again, grabbing my little petals and pressing them in. And again, this one I'm flipping upside down because it's kind of curved that way. Actually, this one I'm going to flip as well. And then grabbing some of those little tealy bluish ones. And again, a few tiny pieces of the gold leaf. And I'll do another one over here. And maybe a teeny tiny little one at the bottom. Okay, so that's what we've got so far. Now, the whole point of the milk bath nail is that the flowers look milky. You know, if you think of a milk bath nail, some of the flowers kind of look like they're covered in milk. So we're going to go back in again into that soft white, and I'm going to apply it over top, not completely covering, like we don't want it to, obviously the flowers to not be seen at all, but we do want to add a layer of that milky white. And use your discretion if you find an area, again, this is going to be a very thin layer because we are going to do another layer of clear and then add some more flowers. So use your discretion and just add a very thin layer, tiny, tiny little amounts. Now, as you can see, it's still very bumpy, right? That's how thin that layer is. All of the flowers are still kind of poking through there. And that's okay, that's what we want. So now I'm going to go in and create more of a solid layer with the clear. Now ideally you would want to let this dry, but I'm just going to go in to continue on with the video and grab a clear bead. Just gonna get my clear acrylic here. I'm going to grab a clear bead of acrylic and create a clear layer. And again, you have to work really thin when you're doing these layered type of nails. If you don't, you are going to end up with a super, super bulky nail, especially if the nails are short. Now, to be honest, if I was doing a very, very short nail, like say, you know, here, this length, I actually would not do the second layer. I would just stop where I just added that bit of milkiness. I would make that just a little bit thicker, that milkiness, to make it more milky, and then I would just cap and clear, because it can tend to get a little thick, and when you've got a really teensy weensy little nail, you don't want to have a big chiclet nail. So again, I'm going to let this layer dry, and then we're going to go in and add some more flowers, and then a little bit, another layer of that milky kind of effect over top to milk out those flowers a bit. And as I said, if you feel like that the soft white is not white enough, you can definitely go in and grab, here I'll show you right here. So this area here does not look very milky, so I'm just going in actually with a bead of white, the pure white, and I'm adding that over top, and you will see instantly how that just kind of milked out that little area there. Okay, so now, sorry, I said to let this layer dry, but you actually don't want to let this layer dry because you want to add your second layer of flowers into that wet acrylic. So I'm adding some more flowers here, pressing them in, just in little areas where there maybe wasn't a flower to begin with. And if your petal does not wants to fight you, just use something like your tweezers and press it in. Sometimes our brushes are not hard enough to sort of press that, you know, petal in there. So again, I'm doing that here, and we're just adding a couple. This is just a very, very few little petals. We're not doing a lot here because we've already got quite a few on that base layer. So we're not adding too many. I'm just adding a couple. You can see that one's got a little petals, or not petal, a little stem sticking up. So I'm actually just gonna nip that off right there. Scissors, take my tweezers and press that in there. And then again, now this is where you would, because I want the gold leaf to actually show gold on this second layer. So I'm going in with my milky white, or if you want, I'll show you, you can go in with your regular white and very, very thinly add a very thin layer of it just to milk everything out. And using this bright white will allow you to put a thinner layer. Because the color is so much more concentrated, you actually can add a way thinner layer. So I would actually recommend that on this layer, just to keep it as thin as possible. Now I want that flower to show a little bit, so I'm going to clean that area off a little bit, and then I'm going to go in with my gold leaf because I want this gold leaf to actually show, and to show gold. I don't want it to be milked out or matted at all. And I'm just grabbing little tiny pieces. And that is pretty much it. And then we just cap in clear. So now you can see already, I don't know if you can tell, I'm gonna see if I can flip it around. Well, it's kind of hard to tell because I've got that layer underneath. Let's go to the tip area. It is a little thicker. It's not super thick though. Like, I've kept it very thin. So now I just want to go in with my clear and cap the nail. Alright, so obviously now we just need to let this cure, and then I am going to finish file and buff and shape and all that, and then we'll come back with top coat. So I'm going to move on next to the water decal design. Okay guys, so as you can see here for the water decal design, I have just taken my water decal and I've cut out some of the petals and flowers and greenery. Now, of course, it's a lot harder to get individual little petals like you have here with the real dried flowers when you're working with a water decal, because it's a lot harder, you know, to cut that little petal out, and then use it as a water decal. So I'm going to leave them like this and just try to work with them the way that they are. Some of them I've left the stem on a little bit. I've grabbed a couple of the larger flowers. And I've mentioned before in one of my other videos that a trick that I will use to make sure that the flowers or the images that you're using on water decals lay flat. Now you can do this after it comes out of the water and you've already slid it off the paper, or you can do it now while it's on the paper. Is I will just take and make a few slits. Now you have to be very careful not to cut too far, or else you will end up cutting through the whole design. But I will do like that. I will just cut little slits along the side, and that way when you do go to lay it on the nail, it does actually lay a lot flatter. Now for this purpose, because we're encapsulating and we're able to kind of push it down, you really don't need to do that, but I just wanted to kind of show you that little trick. So I am now going to soak a few of these. I'm going to soak that guy and this one, and it does not take long for them to come off of that paper. I've just got a little jar of water here, and I've got this one, and I'll do this guy and this larger one here, and then we'll leave these ones for the second layer. So I'll just put those in a second. So again, you want to start in the same manner that we did with the dried flowers. So what we want to do is create, obviously first you want to build a clear layer again to put a barrier between the natural nail and the product. And then we are going to go in with that soft white layer to create that little thin layer of that milky white, dragging down. Now, a good little trick actually is to take a little bit of that water and wet your paper towel that you're working on, and then you can actually take your decals out and you can place them on that little area there, and the hope is that they won't dry out. I've seen other people do this just so that they can have these little decals ready, because obviously my acrylic is starting to dry, so I should have done that before. But I'm going to lay this one down, and as you can see, it'll lay, whoop, it'll just, whoa, you see how it just kind of floats down in there. I'll show you, this one will do it too, even though I didn't cut those slits in there, but it'll just kind of, because they're so thin, like if you get good water decals, they will just lay down on their own. You really don't have to do a whole lot. I'll show you again. If I put that in there, it should just kind of, there you go, it just kind of floated down on its own. So I'm just grabbing these guys out, and I'm going to place them on the wet paper towel. And you can see they slide off so easily off this paper. You really don't have to soak them for very long at all. I'm going to grab this guy and do the same thing. They're so thin and so delicate, and I'm just going to soak these ones as well and get them prepped. Oops. Prepped and ready. All right, so I have all of my water decal pieces over on the side here, and I am just going to add some more of my little milky white to create that sticky layer for them to go ahead and lay into and give that illusion of a milk bath. So I'm going to grab again and just allow them, sorry guys, I should have put them on the other side. I'm going to grab this larger guy here, put that one down, and I don't know if you can see, it just kind of falls into place on its own. And I'm gonna do maybe this guy right here. And it's okay if it is hanging off the side at all, because we're gonna file it anyways. All right, so I've got that. And I'm gonna add a little piece of this blue here. Okay, so now we're going to go in. Now you can see with these water decals, they are a lot lighter in color than the natural dried flowers. They are a lot more delicate. So you definitely don't want to add too much white. You want to just use that soft white and go over that area a little bit to kind of milk it out, but you still want to be able to see those flowers. poking through that milky white. You don't want to completely cover them. So now I'm going to take again the rest of some of this, gold leaf. I actually should have put it in that first layer. Like I said, guys, I'm winging it. So I'm going to add some of this gold leaf because I already had it all cut up. Again, you could use that gold foil, gold flakes, I mean, if you had some of the gold flakes. And we do want to go over that gold leaf with some milky white. So again, I should have done that before I added the second layer of milky white, but we're just going to add a little bit now. Not a whole ton, we just want to milk it out a little bit. All right, just like that. Now I'm going to go back in with my other little pieces of water decal that are still left and add that second layer. I've only got a couple here. Now you could add more, obviously, by cutting up more, but for the demo I'm not going to. And I'm going to add this little blue one over here. And I'm going to add a little bit more gold leaf on top, and these ones I want to show more. Now where I just added those new flowers, you could leave them. I'm sorry guys, if I'm going out of frame a lot, I apologize. I feel like my video is all wonky today. But you could just leave that. So this one here that we just added, it doesn't have any milky white on it, and you don't have to. You actually could leave the second layer without having any of them covered by the milk. So that's what I'm going to do on this one. I'm actually going to just now cap with clear. So the gold leaf that I just added and the decals that I just added are not going to have that milky layer. All right, so I'm going to let that cure, and then I am going to move on to the one with the stamping. All right, guys, so moving into the stamping design, I have just mixed on this tile. I know it's hard to see because the tile's white and so is the gel polish, but I have mixed some of my Young Nails top coat with a little bit of that Crystal Nails Crystal Lac white. So I probably would say it's about 1 part of the white to 3 parts of the clear, and I have applied 2 layers of that onto my tips. So basically for this design you would build your nail however you would build it, in whatever pink or clear, whatever you would buff the nail, shape the nail, and have it ready for the nail art, and this is where we would start adding those layers. So I did 2 layers of this milky white, and now I am going to wipe off the dispersion layer. Now when you're doing stamping, you want to have as smooth of a surface as possible. Now as you can see when you're looking at this nail, okay, so if you look at this nail, it's obviously very shadowy, and you can see it's not perfectly smooth. So I'm going to just, like I said, I'm winging it, so I'm just going to wipe this off and hope that it's smooth enough for these stamps to work. So I've just wiped that tacky layer off, and now I'm ready to apply my stamps. So I'm going to set this aside, and I know stamping on this little tool here is a little bit difficult as well because it doesn't have as much of an anchor behind it to hold it when you stamp, but we're going for it. We are going for it. So the first stamp that I'm going to try is that layered one that I have never used. So I'm actually going to attempt to use this rose pattern here. Now it's quite large, but I'm going to do it kind of off the side. So I'm going to start by applying my more of a lavender color purple on the solid part. All right, so I am going to apply my polish, and I'm going to scrape. Oh, now it looks like some of it, oh, you know what, I'm going to try that again because it looks like it kind of came out of the scrape. Well, you know what, looks like, yeah, it's kind of not filling in very well, but that's okay because I'm just going to do it on the side. Now honestly, you can really barely see that, but we're going to go for it. We're going to just continue on. So now I'm going to use this one and do the darker purple. So this darker one here, 422. The other one, as I spill it, was 463. Okay, so I'm going to apply that darker purple there, scrape, rock, and I'm going to apply that on top. It's hard to do on this little nail, but it did work. It did layer it. Now I'm going to say, like, the clear jelly stamper polishes are probably more, you know, pigmented. They're probably better because they're made for stamping specifically. So now I'm going to do this little section here. Just move that up for you guys so you can see it better. This little part here, and I'm going to use a 421, so this more magenta type of color. And again, I'm going to clean off my stamper, which everybody knows. If you don't know, you just use a lint roller. That helps immensely to clean off your stamper. And I'm going to now scrape and roll, and I'm going to apply that as well. So, you know, it's not too terrible. Obviously that lighter purple really isn't showing much, but because we're going to be milking this out, the design or the shape of the flower doesn't have to be perfect. So I definitely would like to keep trying this and try some of the other ones, or eventually get some of the clear jelly stamper ones. So I'm going to leave that guy and I'm going to move into this what is this called? Plate, stamping plate. So I am going to actually grab a few of the flowers. So you know what, I'm going to grab this one here and I'm going to do it in that magenta color, just a solid flower like so. I'm going to scrape, grab it. Now if you've seen any videos, usually you have a glove on, but you just tap around with your fingernail or your glove, whatever the color that you want to remove, and then you put it on the nail. And then I feel like I need something in the middle here, so I'm just actually going to grab this little flower right there, and I'm going to do it in the darker purple because we only have that dark purple there. So again, scraping, rocking, and putting down. And you know what, some of them didn't stick, and that's okay, because to be honest, I'm going to take those, if you can see there's a little tiny petal right here, I'm going to take that and put that over here, because we kind of like that idea of having those little tiny individual petals. So that worked out in my favor, definitely. So now we are going to go in with our color, our white, milky white that we mixed up. And I'm going to do a layer of that over top of these stamps. again, to kind of milk them out. Now you may have to do a couple of layers depending on how milky you want it. But I'm going in with one for now. I'm going to cure it, and then I will go from there. Okay, so that's the first layer of the milky white. So I am going to actually add some of these gold flakes on this one. So I'm just going in with my little brush that I generally use to apply my gold or my flakes. And I've just got a few on my brush. I'm just going to add them in here and there because I am going to do a second layer of that milky white. I do want to add a little bit more white. All right, so that is that. So you just want to make sure they're pressed in there, and then I'm going in with another layer of that milky white just to make it just a little bit more milky and to go over those gold flakes a bit. All right, so I'm going to go in and cure that guy. All right, so this is what we have so far. Now, of course, it does look a little different than the other, the original type with the dried flowers because you get those little tiny individual petals, whereas with this you have more, you know, flower shapes. But I am going to go in because I do want some of this gold leaf to actually pop and show gold and shine gold. So I am going in with a few more of those. I'm not adding any more layer of the flowers on this one because that first layer is covered up quite a bit. So I don't want to layer too much, but I'm just going in with a few gold leaf, gold flake pieces. Just because with the top coat I do want those little bits to show and shine rather than being milky. And that would be it. So for this, that would be it, and then we would just top coat. So I am going to go back to the other two acrylic ones. I'm going to file them, shape them, buff them, and then I will come back and I will top coat all of them. Okay, so for this one here, that is it, and then you would just use finish off with your top coat. Now I think this one actually would look kind of cool matted, even though I wanted those gold pieces to shine through. So I may actually matte this one and let you guys see how that looks, and I'll shiny top coat the other two because this one does look a little different than the other two. But I'm going to go finish file the other two and buff them and get them ready for top coat, and then we'll be back to do that. Alright guys, so here are all three of the designs side by side. So I'm going to actually put, like I said, I'm going to do shiny top coat on these two, and I'm going to actually mattify and put matte top coat on this one, so they're going to look the opposite once the top coat's on. But I think that this one would look really cool with top coat, with the top coat being matte. So here we go with the shiny top coat on the first one, which is the one that we did using the dried flowers in the traditional milk bath way. And then this one is the one that we did with the water decals. And this last one is the one that we did using the stamp. Alright, I'm going to cure those and then show you the final results. Alright guys, thanks again for watching another one of my videos. I know that this one is a bit of a long one, but I wanted to try to do this design in 3 different ways because sometimes people don't have all of the different types of nail art in their nail art collection. So somebody may not have the dried flowers and they may only have stamps. So I wanted to see if it's possible to create this milk bath design using the different methods. And as far as I'm concerned, I think they all turned out pretty cool. So I would love to hear below which one one is your favorite. I'm actually quite surprised that my favorite is number 2, the one done with the water decals. I thought for sure that I would be absolutely obsessed with the first one done with the traditional dried flowers, but I love the softness of the one with the water decals. Number 2 would be the traditional one for me with the dried flowers, and then number 3 would be the one with the stamp, because it doesn't really look like a milk bath nail, but it did still turn out pretty cool. So as always guys, please click the like and subscribe. If you know anyone who would like this, share it with them, leave any comments below, and as always, have an amazing day.